Okay, I'm going to be demonstrating a 4-loop version of the Spiral Braid, the right-handed version. This is a reduced, here's an example of that braid. Kind of a funny little example I made for I've done a couple of these, and this is about take 3. Something kept going wrong. This is a supplement to a tutorial I'm filing with the Braids and Bands Yahoo list. It's a discussion group of the Braid Society, although anybody can join it, anybody that's interested in narrow wears and braids and woven bands. It's going to be on, it is on, a whole family of spiral braids, from 4-loop braids up to 10-loop braids. The classic one is an 8-loop braid. This that I'm holding in my hand is actually a 6-loop braid, and the tutorial will cover some cool things like how to make this braid with a loop start with no loose ends and some little fringes and stuff. The 4-loop version. Oh, and the tutorial also covers, I'm going to be showing the spiral version. The tutorial will also cover other patterns. I don't know if this shows in this light. You don't have to make a spiral. There are other patterns possible. This one is sort of a stripy pattern and the 4-loop braid is fairly minimal. It's a fairly small braid, but it really can have a lot of pattern possibilities, and it's a great one to know, as well as the classic 8-loop one and the 6 and the 10 that I'm going to present in the tutorial. Okay, so here's my about take 4 or so for the 4-loop version, and you're going to start with 2 loops of one color on one hand and 2 loops of another color, preferably a highly contrasting color, on the other hand. And these 4 loops, it's a pretty simple braid. These 4 loops are going to trade places with the loops on the other hand, but they're going to do it in a funny alternating way. And this is the order of the moves. It's going to be like this. Those 2 loops are going to exchange fingers, and then these, and then these again, and then these. There's only two moves in the braiding cycle, and then it begins again. So you start by bringing the 2 fingers, or this is move number 1. So move number 1, the 2 moves are actually exactly the same, they're just between different fingers. So move number 1, you put the right loop onto the left finger. Your right finger stays within that loop. It extends over the left loop, and now it's going to bend down and pull that left loop through the one that had been on the right finger, and it kind of pulls towards you a little bit to ease it off the tip of the finger. There it came over with a turn. And now I tighten my loops, which doesn't mean I pull them very hard. It's sort of a generic term that I use anyway for just socking the pattern up. And you pull out a couple times, all the way in does this show? Let's see if it's in the camera. All the way in a straight line. Now you're ready to do move number 2. And move number 2 is these 2 fingers. We already did move number 1. Now we have a little mix of colors on the 2 hands. Okay, move number 2 is the same type of move. You lay the right loop onto the left finger, reach over, bend down, and start bringing that left loop through, and you kind of pull it towards yourself a little bit to ease it off the finger. You might have seen that it came through with a turn. Tighten. The way that I take the loop, okay, and at the end of the cycle, when you've done your 2 moves, look and just make sure that darks are on one side, lights are on the other. They will have changed hands, but they should be together. If they aren't together, you might want to just put them together. If you've made some kind of little mistake or something, just put them on the right hands. For now, it'll, I think, be less of a glitch in the braid. So, starting again with move number 1. Laying it on, reaching over, pulling through a little bit towards yourself to ease it off that finger. Tighten. Rock that tightening move. Move number 2. Give myself a little more room there. Lay it on, reach over, pull it through a little bit towards yourself, get it off the finger, tighten. The very beginning, under the knot, you actually want to pull pretty hard to Also, often when you just start your braid, the way I have set it up here, let's get, I forgot to show you this, I have a header cord. The header cord is actually just looped around. It's, well, it had a lark's head knot, kind of like a lasso there, holding it on just under the overhand knot that's the top of the braid. I used to tie that under a kitchen chair, a longer header cord, back of a kitchen chair. I now put it over a C-clamp because it's so easy to remove. Often it's twisted at the top, at the very top of the braid when you start. The loops are a bit tangled and twisted around, so you do have to kind of tighten hard the first few times. Okay, back we go. So let's remove number 1, these 2 fingers, lay the right one on, pull the left one through a little bit towards yourself to kind of ease it off that finger. Move 2. There we go. It's coming through. Tighten. Rock that tightening move. I see a little bit of looseness up at the top, so I'm still pulling real harder than I will for the rest of the braid. 1. Lay it on. Pull the other loop through. Ease it off the finger. Tighten. Rock that tightening move. 2. Lay it on. Pull the other loop through and kind of pull it towards yourself. There. Tighten. After move number 2 is, again, when you check to make sure that your colors are on the same colors on the same hands. 1. Lay it on. Pull the other loop through, ease it off. Tighten. 2. Lay that loop on. Your loops, you're the boss of your loops. You can reach up high. You don't have to be timid about reaching through. Reach up high to fish that one through. Pull it off. Tighten. I still think for some reason this looks a little loose at the top. I would have rather maybe pulled it a little tighter at the very beginning, but as you can see the spiral coming. There we go, move number 1. I think I did that too fast. Here we go, pulling through. Tighten. Move number 2. Reaching through. Tighten. 1 again. Let's move number 1. Putting it on. Over. Pulling the other one through. Tighten. Remove number 2. Reaching over. Pulling it through. Tighten. Okay. I'm a little torn. I want to tell you something, but maybe I should keep practicing with you first. So let's do a few more moves. 1. 2. 1. 2. Okay, I am going to show something now, and that's something I forgot to do in a previous incarnation of this video. Let's get I explained this in my tutorial. I'm not going to explain it here, but there are ways to make this this braid with a different pattern, and one of the main other patterns you can make is a vertical striping pattern. When you do that pattern with this what I just showed you, the moves I just showed you, you get a braid that has a sort of a torque to a twist to it. You can kind of see that, I hope. The light seems very bad here, but the braid has a twist. It has an inherent twist that you don't really see with the spiral. The twist of the spiral camouflages any other twist that you get. The reason the braid has this twist is because every time you pull a loop through, which was the classic directions for this braid from the Middle Ages, you give it a turn. Let me do it the right way. Move number 1. When I take the loop from the top like this, it ends up giving the loop a turn, a clockwise turn, since I'm right-handed and I'm taking it that way, a clockwise turn, and the loops always get that clockwise turn. That twist is building up the whole time you're braiding this. And it does affect the pattern a bit when you're doing a straight braid. I kind of like it. I don't mind. Often I want that. Like for a bracelet, I like that. I think it kind of shows off the stripe a little bit when it turns. I don't know, but if you wanted a straight braid with a straight stripe, let's see the bracelet. I don't know if the light is good enough to show that, but I kind of like the torque. But if you don't want it, you would need to take the loops a different way. And the way that you would take the loops, I forgot to show in the other version, one of the other incarnations of this video, the way that you would take the loops such that you didn't turn them is instead, when you would still meet up the same fingers, you would still put the loop on, at least the way I do it, but instead of taking the other loop from above or even from below, either way turns the loop. You turn it in different directions. This would turn it up that way, counterclockwise. This turns it clockwise. Instead of taking the loop from above or below, you would go through the loop you're going to take, and in some way take the loop off the finger from that position. The way I usually choose to do it is by bending down, since I've been bending down to take the loops in general. That's how I do it. So I bend down and take the bottom shank. It really wouldn't matter. The loop wouldn't turn over even if you took the top shank. So that's one way to do it. You reach through both the loops on that finger. You're still taking the one in back, here the blue one, and I just kind of bend down, lift it up, bring it out, and then you kind of have to roll up to get it off the finger. I'm going to do that move a few times, and then I'll show you some optional variations of it. You might not care about that, but some people do. You know, they really might want a straight braid, so I do want to show this. Putting the loop on, reaching through both loops, I prefer to take the bottom shank, and pulling it out. Now to get it off the finger without pulling the other loop, I kind of roll up like that. Now it's off. I'm going to tighten. Let's do it a couple more times. It's actually more efficient. I'm not that used to making this braid. So the more efficient way, I think, would be to put it on and roll your finger down, since I'm taking the bottom shank. Grab that. It's just a slightly different way, and then rolling forward to get it off. Tighten. Move number 2. Laying it on, kind of rolling down this time. Going into both loops. Bending down and getting that bottom shank. Lifting it through. And kind of rolling forward again to get it off. I mention in one of my videos, I think on the right-handed version of the 6-loop braid, I mentioned that I remember seeing, it's a YouTube video, you can probably find her, and I'll try and find it too, of a woman who braided. She did a kind of cool way of getting that loop without turning it, and the way she did it was she put her thumb in the first loop, the one that I normally lay on the other finger. She instead put her thumb into it, opened it up, and then stuck the finger through. As I'm saying, she did it without turning the loop, so you have to put your loop through the other loop. And then she just pulled it through that loop that's now on the thumb, while putting it onto the other finger. It looks complicated, but it's actually very clever and works really well. So now you're going to do the other finger, and that works fine. Even though the thumb isn't right as conveniently next to that finger, you just stick it in. I'm on the wrong finger. I'm confusing my own self. I hope I'm not confusing you. So putting it through that loop. This is where, as I said before, I would normally lay the loop on and fish the other one through. Instead, she sticks her thumb in there, pulls the other loop right through that loop that the thumb is kind of subbing for, and then inserts the finger. So that's another alternative.